Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you this Resurrection Sunday morning? I'm practicing online here with you before I show up to the fellowship. I jump in my car in about 25 minutes, so I thought I'd share a little bit. Going to be in Mark chapter 16. Mark chapter 16. And I know about the manuscript evidence of Matthew, Mark, or I'm sorry, the last chapter of Mark. So I'm going to read it anyway. Now, when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome brought spices that they might come and anoint him. Very early in the morning on the first day of the week, they came to the tomb when the sun had risen. And they said among themselves, "Who will roll away the stone from the door of the tomb for us?" But when they looked up, they saw that the stone had been rolled away, for it was very large. And entering the tomb, they saw a young man clothed in a long white robe sitting on the right side. They were alarmed. But he said to them, "Do not be alarmed. You seek Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He is risen. He is not here. See the place where they laid him. But go, tell his disciples, and Peter, that he is going before you into Galilee, and there you will see him as he said." So, happy Resurrection Sunday. I'm practicing with my notes before I go live at the local church in Glenwood Springs. I'm heading to the sanctuary here in a bit, and I've got like 20 minutes. So I thought I would just jump on and shout out. So tell me where you're watching from, and I'd love to participate with you. So the Sabbath context, Mark chapter 16, verse 1 through 7, when the Sabbath was past, they brought spices. The Saturday Sabbath. There were concurrent Sabbaths typically. There was the Feast of the Unleavened Bread, and the first day of the feast was a Sabbath day according to the law. And it seems like there was one on Friday and one on Saturday, kind of like a concurrent Sabbath during this season. The woman who came, Mary Magdalene, Mary mother of James, and Salome had brought sweet spices to come and anoint him. The same women who were standing afar off watching the crucifixion of Jesus we saw earlier in Mark chapter 15, verse 40. It says, "There were also women looking from afar, among whom were Mary Magdalene, Mary mother of James the Less, and of Joseph, and Salome." So those are the women who came to him. They also followed Joseph of Arimathea when he took the body of Jesus, and they watched him put the body in the tomb and rolled the stone over the door of the sepulcher. So they're coming early in the morning. They're bringing sweet spices that they might come and anoint Jesus. Very early in the morning on the first day of the week, Mark 16, verse 2, Mary Magdalene hurried ahead, it seems. She arrived at the tomb while it was still dark, and she saw the stone was rolled away. She did not go in. and she assumed they had moved the body of Jesus and ran to tell Peter and John. Peter and John came running to the sepulcher, and in the meantime, the other women arrived, and Mark tells us what happened to them. They saw an angel at the place where they had laid Jesus, and they rushed to tell the disciples what the angel told them. So Peter and John arrived. Remember, John outruns Peter, but Peter rushed into the tomb while John waited outside. So they discovered the wrappings that had been around Jesus lying there, the folds still there, but the body gone. And John immediately recognized the significance of it. Jesus has risen indeed. So there's Mary now, who had told Peter and John, comes back to the tomb. So what I'm doing is kind of going through a timeline of events. Now Mary is at the tomb, and while she was there weeping and sobbing, the angel said, "Why are you weeping?" She said, "Because they have taken away my Lord. I don't know where they put him." And she turned away, and Jesus was standing there. She thought he was the gardener. And he said, "Women, why weepest thou?" King James says. And she gave the answer, "They've taken away my Lord." Then Mary saw Jesus, grabbed hold of him, and he said, "Do not cling to me, Mary. Go tell the disciples, I have risen indeed." So she came to tell the disciples. Look at Mark 16, verse 3. The story continues. Who will roll away the stone from the door of the tomb for us? Just a practical, everyday concern. Heavy stone. And I've seen in Israel those sepulchers with stones in front of them. You understand the question, because who's going to be able to push those things? And you can try, and I've checked them out before, and I haven't really tried to push them because it looked obvious that they wouldn't move anyway. So great stones rolled in front of the openings of caves where they would bury bodies, or a carved out sepulcher. This is the way they buried people. Who's going to roll away the stone? A real concern. And this is a lesson for me, maybe for you too, about worry. And I'm practical. Who's going to roll away the stone? And my worries, let me tell you, are often unnecessary and needless. I realize, why did I worry about that? And I worry about things even now. Like, what time is it? I got to get to church. So I'm doing this practice run before I go to church and present this before the congregation live there in Colorado, Glenwood Springs. So thank you for joining me live as I practice my message before I head to church and give the sermon there. I'm in Mark chapter 16, and a practical concern: who will roll away the stone from the door of the tomb for us? Very practical, and yet it's a lesson of worry for me. They got there, they found the stone was already rolled away. Isn't that the Lord? Here they are worrying who's going to roll it away, and it's already done. Have you worried about something like I have? And when you arrive, it's taken care of. Oh, Lord, help my unbelief. I've seen it time and time again. And wasted energy and anxiety. And there the Lord has gone before and taken care of the things before they even got there. Look at verse 4, Mark 16, verse 4. And when they looked up, they saw that the stone had been rolled away. And what's important is what lies behind the stone. The sepulcher, they laid the body of Jesus there. They were coming. They were going to anoint him with the sweet spices. And Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1, God spoke to our fathers by the prophets, and as his last days by his dear Son. And so this is how the Father revealed himself. He loves you, our Father in heaven, and he wants to provide for you, take care of you, and watch over you, concerned with every minor detail of your life. And he brought to man a concept of a God of love, not a God of wrath, not a God of judgment, but a God who loves you, his creation. And he's not removed from his creation. But man rejected that. And so behind the stone, people think he's dead, and it's a dead concept of religion and God, but that's not true. We know that. The reality is God's reached out to us, and that's proven in the Son, Jesus Christ, and that he's risen from the dead. God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son. We could never come up with such a story or a plan or an idea. This is a God story as revealed in the Scripture, that Jesus Christ rose again from the dead. And God loved us. And none of the religions in the world could ever match. But you have to be born again. You have to have new life, a spiritual life. And most humanity has rejected that. So it's not a dead hope. And that's what we're going to talk about today at church. The title of my message will be A Living Hope, 1 Peter. And I'm looking forward to talking about the whole passage in Peter. We'll look at that today. But I got to get going. I thought I'd jump in here and say hello before I jump in the car. I think I got to get dressed and maybe comb my hair. I already shaved and everything, but I'm heading to church. I thought I'd spend a minute with you and read a few verses on what I'll be teaching this morning. And I don't actually teach in the pulpit for about, a couple more hours. So I'll be heading to the office and studying a little bit early. And I hope to see you in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. If not, we'll see you online. Sure love you guys. Bye for now.